Hello. I don't know who's there, but welcome. So if you could just pop something in the chat box so I know who you are, that would be great. Thank you. Welcome. As you're coming in, if you could just say hello in the chat box, just pop a little hello so I know who's here. That would be great. Just waiting a few moments for everyone to arrive. So I'm just watching here and there's people coming in and coming out. So I don't know who's here and who's not. But okay, if you don't feel comfortable popping something in the chat box, just to let me know you're here, then I will just begin. So welcome everyone. Hi Fiona, yay! Happy New Year to you too, my darling. Lovely to have you here. And Happy New Year to all of you. I think we've all been waiting for this fresh start, if you like. It's been quite a challenging 2020. And we've all had our different challenges for all different reasons. And, I think on the whole, it's been a difficult year, but there are positives that we can all draw from it. And I think it's important to recognize those, as well as recognizing the fact that, it's probably been quite poo for people as well. So anyway, yes, this morning I got up and I'm lucky enough to have a beautiful view from my bedroom window over across Porth all the way out to St Morgan, across the bay. And it was such a beautiful morning. The sun was coming up and there was like this pinky peach hue over the sea, and it just looked divine, and it really inspired hope for me. And really, for me, it was kind of like a sign that, this year is going to be magical. It's going to be different. And so the reason I wanted to share this webinar with you today was really just to share a little bit of that hope, a little bit of that inspiration with you, and also share the kind of New Year ritual that I've been doing for the last few years. And it's really just one to help kind of clear out any stagnant energy, to embrace the new year with kind of like a clear space, if you like, a clear space in the mind, a clear space in my environment. Yeah, that kind of thing. So the last, 2 or 3 nights ago, there was a big full moon. And on the big full moon, it's a really potent time to let go of stuff. And so for me, this year, the biggest thing I think that's been holding me back through this year is probably procrastination. So that's something that I'm really going to work on this year, and that's the thing that I want to let go. But it also made me realize, coming into this new year, quite often we set resolutions and things for the new year, things that we might give up and things that we want to maybe let go of in our life. And I think this year particularly, we've all sacrificed so much already. We've already given up a lot of stuff already. So for me personally, this year is not about giving stuff up, not about making more sacrifices. For me this year, it's about what I'd like to bring more of into my life. And I think with the hardships and things that we've all gone through this year, I think it's really important to recognise that, you know, we've really gone back to basics, and having that time to come back to basics, that time to really assess and evaluate what's really important in our life. Just the simple things like hugs, for example, like connections with people, our loved ones, our friends. You know, essentially all we really want to do is just be with people. And this year we've been severely restricted in that element. So yeah, for this year, I think really just making more of an effort to connect in the ways that we can connect, even if it is online like this, or making a phone call, or even, you know, sending a little letter or a text to someone to just to let them know that you're thinking of them is really important. So back to my New Year's ritual. So the first thing that I like to do when we come into the new year is really just to think about my environment. So I generally tend to have a bit of a decluttering session. You know, really declutter the house, go through my wardrobe, the everything drawer, the pockets of clutter that kind of arrive all around the house, and you know, you think, oh, I'll do that at some point, and it never quite gets done. So that's the first thing. Clear out the house, you know, recycle, upcycle, send it to the charity shop, whatever you need to do. And the second thing is just think about, you know, the electronic stuff that I have. For example, my email. I have about 3 or 4 emails. I don't exactly know why, but yeah, they had got pretty gruesome by the time it came to the end of last year. So I had a real good clear out of all of those so they can start from fresh, unsubscribe to all the stuff that I'm not even reading. And then for myself, you know, I just start to, you know, as it leads up to Christmas, there's been cake most days, or, you know, some pretty, you know, I wouldn't say bad habits, but nothing's good or bad, just overindulging. And so these last few days just kind of been letting go of that stuff and starting to eat better, more healthful stuff, just be a bit more mindful. Sometimes I do a fast, but that hasn't happened this year. And then I'll have a nice bath, like an Epsom salt bath or something, just to really detoxify the system. Drink lots and lots of really good quality water, so important, just to flush out all the toxins from the body. And also just meditating every day, and we'll be doing a little bit of that later on during the webinar as well, because this really has to just attune ourselves back into the vibration of our energy, or attune ourselves to where we're at, center our mind, our thoughts, and it's just so important for self-inquiry. So yeah, aside from the, you know, those kind of practices, I always like to take a pocket of time. So I actually did this yesterday, and I've been spending this morning just walking with the dog, having some silent time for things to come in. But yesterday morning I did my ritual, and I basically got my crystals, cleansed the space with a bit of sage. As you probably, if you just arrived, if you arrived early, you would have seen me just burning some Palo Santos just to clear the energy, clear the space. And I get my crystals out and all my woo-woo stuff. And I basically just come to sit and have a little bit of a breathe, have a moment to really center myself in and to meditate. And then I get my journal, pen, and we're going to be doing this soon. So if you've got your pens and your journals with you, brilliant, get them out. You're going to need those now. And just reflect on a few questions, really, just to see where I'm at, where my energy's at. Did everyone get the webinar workbook that I sent round? You can just put a little thumbs up, or maybe write something in the chat box. I just emailed it round this morning. Not to worry if you haven't got it. I'm going to be reading out the questions anyway, so you can just jot down the answers. Okay, no worries, Michelle. I will send out the workbook after this session. So don't worry too much about writing down the questions and things. If you just jot down some answers, I'll send you the workbook afterwards, and you can always reflect on the questions a little bit more deeply. Okay, so I think first of all, what we'll do is we'll just center ourselves, just take a few moments to breathe and center, and then we'll come to the questions. So just have your notebooks and pens handy, but get yourself comfy if you're not already, and you may just want to take a moment just to close your eyes. And then we'll take a few cleansing breaths. So by cleansing breaths, I invite you to just breathe in deeply through the nose and then breathe out with a big sigh through the mouth. You can do this a few times, just really imagining that the breath that you're taking in is really clearing space through the mind, through your energetic body. And as you're breathing out, you're just letting go of any stagnancy, any neggy energy. And just allowing your breath to come to a natural rhythm. And inviting all parts of yourself back into this moment. If your thoughts have trailed away onto something else, if your time, your attention is divided, to see if you can bring everything back into center. And you might even imagine that as you're breathing in, you're drawing the breath and your energy all the way down through the center line of the body, all the way down to the base chakra, the base of the body. And each breath out is drawing the energy all the way back up through the center line of the body, through the chakra system. Centering, grounding, calming back in. And then perhaps just setting the intention for this space, the intention for this practice, and for the work that we'll do together today, just to really be into the highest good or the greatest good for yourself, inviting in wisdom, guidance from the higher self. And then flickering open your eyes. And just taking your pen, taking your paper, and I'd like you to not think about these questions too much. Just literally write down the first thing that comes to your head. This is normally the intuitive response. So just reflecting on the year that's just gone by, first of all, I'd like you to think about what experiences made you happy. What experiences made you happy? Just make a few rough notes. It might just be as simple as walking the dog, noticing a sunset, eating good food. What experiences this year made you happy? And the next question is kind of like a double question, really. What experiences did you learn from? What experiences did you learn from? So quite often the experiences that we get the most growth, the most learning from, tend to be the most challenging. We've certainly had a few of those over the last year. So whilst you might write what was challenging, you might also just jot down a few words on what you've learned from that challenge. Last year, we've really been restricted on who we can see and who we can spend time with. For me personally, this year, I have learned that we really need a purpose. We really need a purpose to get out of bed and to be motivated and to really feel excited about life. And certainly over the last year, it's been quite a transitional place for many of us, and it's really been interesting to gain the learning from it. So what do you feel over the last year has really held you back? Apart from the obvious, and maybe it's something more to do with you. Perhaps you're a perfectionist, perhaps you've been procrastinating, perhaps, I don't know, could be anything. Of course, it could be something that's external of yourself, perhaps lack of support. But I think for this exercise, it's really good to reflect on things that, you have the power to change, that you can take responsibility, can take ownership of. And the next one could be tricky if you're looking for something big. But I'd like you to look to what you have achieved this year that you're proud of. And I think one of the major things that we can all say that we've done this year is we've achieved collectively and individually resilience to the situation and the ever-changing circumstances around us. We've all pulled together to do what has been necessary to get through difficult times. So just a few words. So the next question I'd like you to reflect on is, how has your physical and your mental health been? So you might want to rate it out of 10. You might just want to say, yeah, there's a couple of things I need to work on, or maybe there's not. Maybe everything's been great. Perhaps this extra time that you've had, if you have had extra time, has given you the focus, the motivation to really excel at your mental or physical health goals. Or maybe there's just a little bit of work that you could do there. And then the next question is really quite an important one, and it's something that I could do a whole webinar on itself about, but I'll just keep it brief. And really, I'd like you to just reflect for a few moments on what your top 3 values are in life, your top 3 values. So, for example, it could be your family, it could be your health, it could be personal growth or spiritual connection. I'd like you to think about those top 3. If you have more, absolutely jot them down later on, but just to keep things timely in this webinar, just reflect on your top 3. And the reason I ask you to do this is that it's a really great way to assess whether or not your life is in alignment with these values. I think unconsciously we tend to kind of veer towards these values. The decisions that we make align to these values. And if we're not in alignment, then of course they don't. So, for example, if your top value is spending time in nature and you literally get out for a walk maybe for 10 minutes per week, that's not really in line with your values. If your top value is your family, yet you're working 90 hours a week and not spending any time with them, that's incongruent. So I'd like you just to reflect a little bit here on, what are your top 3 values? Are they congruent with your lifestyle? Or are there maybe some changes that you could make? And that's all I'd really like to do, to reflect on the year just gone. I haven't really given you much time to answer those questions, so please feel free to do them in your own time later on. This next set of questions, and there are 6 questions in this next set, are really about what we'd like to draw in for the year ahead, for 2021. And I think we've all got big expectations for 2021. And I think we can all safely say that I hope it will be a lot more positive than the last year that's just gone by. But having learned from the last year that we all need to come back to basics and like a basic level of what makes us happy, I think certainly for myself, it's made me realize that what I want to manifest for next year is not big, exuberant things. It's just tiny little things. And I think what it really comes back to is, when we're manifesting something, what's the feeling tone behind that manifestation? If we want a new car, a new house, a new something, is it actually that thing that we're chasing after? Or is it because we think it's going to make us happy, for example? And it's very easy to look to external sources for that happiness, for that nourishment, for that fulfillment. But actually, and I know it's a cliche to say it, but it's been something that I've been learning over the last 15 years, is, happiness comes from within, and it's really just a choice of how we're living day by day. And of course, in this human experience, we're very lucky, we're very blessed to have a whole colour of emotions, complete colour of emotions through the spectrum. And I don't know about you guys, but the last month certainly has been quite a few big, powerful energy shifts across the planet. And I've definitely felt these and had little moments where my energy has just literally been sky high one minute, rock bottom the next. And the solace that I take in it is the fact that I know it is just energy. No matter how you're feeling, whatever kind of emotion is coming up for you, it is just energy. And energy is always changing, just like the wind around us, it's always changing direction. And so whatever comes up, the important thing to remember is that if we acknowledge and accept what's there and just let it come out to its full color, it will drift off just as quickly. When we allow things to consume us and really dwell on it and go into the story, that's when it has more of a hold on us. So I invite you, if there are, difficult emotions to deal with, just to have that in mind, that it's completely impermanent. It will shift just as quickly as it came in. It will leave just as long as you give it time to really be there. And so on that note, coming into the new year, instead of making big grand gestures of things you'd like to manifest, maybe just look at manifesting 3 minutes a day where you could devote that time to your happiness, to cultivating happiness within. And that could be as simple as, just doing 3 minutes of breathing, 3 minutes of holding your hands on your heart, just to say, do you know what? I love you. I've got you. Because I think we've all needed to be held in some way over this last year. We've all needed that bit of reassurance. And you know what? We can give it to ourselves. We don't need to look externally for that kind of nourishment. So grabbing your pens once again, let's just go through these next few questions. So what changes, and let's go small. What changes could you make to create more alignment to your values? So for example, if you wanted to do a little bit more fitness because your top value was health and you've been a little bit out of alignment, then perhaps you could just commit to every time you go to make a cup of tea, just doing squats until the kettle's boiled. Or maybe you could commit to going for a run, but you could just say, do you know what, I'm just going to go around the block for 10 minutes. And then if you go around for the block in 10 minutes and you really enjoyed it and you want to go a little bit more, brilliant. But just start really small. And if you haven't already got a meditation practice, then it's 100% the best way to get to know yourself and the best way to really connect to that inner happiness. Okay, so this is a big one. Talked about it just a little bit before. And what would you like to let go of this year? So when I say let go, I don't mean, right, okay, let's just stop eating sugar and crisps and, cut out loads of stuff and make loads of sacrifices. We've all done enough of that this year. Let's not make it really big and uncomfortable. But maybe there's something within yourself that you could set the intention of letting go. So, for example, throughout most of my life, I have suffered with anxiety, and I do tend to think too much about things, as I'm always told. Meditation and mindfulness has been hugely helpful for that. And so for me, when I set an intention for something, to let go of something, it's really more about just kind of allowing those layers to ebb away, rather than making it a really uncomfortable resolve, if you like, resolution. And whenever we let go of something, so for example, my letting go this year is procrastination, we make room for something else, so we can embrace more of something. And I think, a big thing perhaps for all of us this year is just to embrace human connection, embrace the real underlying current of what our human basic needs are, just to be with people, to extend our love out to other people, and also to be able to receive it back as well, to give and receive. And in my case, letting go of procrastination, I'm embracing more of just getting shit done. Okay, so if you could achieve anything this year, what would it be? If you could achieve anything this year, what would it be? And, it could be something really grand, because it's always good to push ourselves out of our comfort zone to grow. However, it could just be that simple, tiny, micro habit of coming back to self, of giving yourself that little bit of nourishment. Maybe it's just 3 minutes a day just to check in and say, right, how am I feeling? Okay, today's not a great day. Maybe I could just allow myself some space. Maybe I could just lay in bed and just read my book, or, do what I need to do to allow those feelings to come out into fruition, just so that I can let them go. So on that note, what super small habit could you create as of today that could really have a big impact on your well-being, on your health? Whether that's mental health, physical health, what small thing could you do? And also, by the way, I'm going to be giving all the people that have been here on the webinar a copy of my ebook, which I've just written over the last month, which is all about harnessing the power of self-love to boost confidence and inner strength and clarity, just by creating small self-care rituals. So if you would like that book, please just ping me an email after this webinar. I'm just going to pop my email address in the chat box. So if you'd like a copy of that, you can just let me know, and I will send you a coupon so that you can have that for free. Okay, this last question is a pretty cool one. Well, I think so anyway. I kind of gave up setting New Year's resolutions a long time ago because I never really stuck to them. So what I found really much more helpful is to set a theme word for the year. So last year, my word was simplify, which was quite interesting, really, considering we really did have to simplify everything and go completely back to basics. So yeah, careful what you manifest. But yeah, so this year, the word that I'm setting as my word is strength. And that means lots of different things to me: strength in resilience, strength in my faith to, the government, humanity, higher source, myself, that kind of thing, and also my physical body as well. So yeah, what's your word? It could be lightness, it could be ease. And that word I invite you to bring into each day. So you could bring it into your day by thinking about the choices that you make, the decisions that you make. If it's lightness, is this food going to make me feel light? Is this activity going to make me feel light? How can I get more light into my life, into my body, into my mind? That kind of thing. So I hope you found that useful. We're going to do a little bit of a meditation now. So if you do need to just get up and stretch your legs a little bit, have a little shake out just to get yourself ready. I'll just give you like 30 seconds, just have a little bit of a stretch. Going to take a little drink of water, get myself ready. Yeah, and then let's prepare to meditate together. So if you prefer to lay down, please feel free to lay down, but I just invite you to bend your knees if you're laying down. Let your knees rest against each other and the feet come wide. And if you're sitting up, if you're comfortable sitting on the floor, that's fine. If you need to lean up against the wall or sit on a chair, then, just make sure you're comfy. Grab a blanket, it's a bit frosty out there today. And then when you're ready, you can either close your eyes. If that doesn't feel comfortable, you can just bring your attention and just stare at one point in front of you, perhaps the tip of the nose, top of the cheekbones. And take some long, easeful breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. And you might find it useful just to count the breath in. Count the breath in up to 4 and count the breath out to 4 as well, with a little pause in between the inhale and the exhale, and a little pause between the exhale and the inhale. So if you want to join me in a rhythm, you can do that now, just exhaling completely and then breathing in 2, 3, 4, pause. Breathing out 2, 3, 4, pause. Breathing in 2, 3, 4, pause. Breathing out 2, 3, 4, pause. So you can continue with that rhythm or create one of your own. And as you breathe, I'd like you to imagine that you're drawing light into the body. A glorious diamond white light from the central sun, from the stars, the moon, the galaxies around you. Imagining that sparkling light energy drawing into your body, into your etheric body. Swirling around you like 1,000 fairy lights. Drawing that light into the cells of your body. So absorbing the light in through the skin, into the molecules of the blood, the plasma, into the muscle tissue and the organs of your body. Whole body beaming with light. And as your body absorbs more and more of this light, fills with light, I'd like you to see in your mind's eye that any stagnant energy, any fears, any doubts, just being dissolved away. Perhaps you might feel this as a block or in the body, maybe part of your body that you just can't feel. Maybe you have an injury or disease somewhere in your body. You can draw more light into that area. And just let the light dissolve away any stagnancy, any blocks, any negative energy. Bringing this light into the center of the body through the spinal column, down to the base of your body, filling the base chakra with light, and sending tendrils of that light down into the earth beneath you, down into Mother Earth, into Gaia, all the way down through the soil, into the rock, into the molten core of the earth. Tethering your energy down into the earth and drawing that earth energy all the way back up through the tendrils of your body, through the roots, and back into the base chakra. Start to draw it up towards the sacral chakra just below the navel. So feeling solid, secure, and in the base chakra and in the sacral chakra, bringing that energy up. Setting the affirmation that we are able to go with the flow, able to have that deep resilience. We can ride the waves. We can allow our lives to flow with whatever challenges face us. Bringing the energy up to the solar plexus. Having that deep inner belief in our own capabilities. Tapping into our innate power. You might see this as a golden sunshine. And then bringing that energy all the way up into the heart center. Letting that expand out through the chest. Let your energy go wide, connecting with all of humanity, reconnecting with the feeling of faith, faith in ourselves, faith in those around us, that the universe has our back, no matter what. And bringing the energy all the way up to the throat, feeling safe to speak your truth, safe to communicate how you feel, and to receive others. Bringing the energy all the way up to the third eye, brow center, connecting with intuition, your inner knowing, inner wisdom, inner trust. And then all the way up to the crown chakra, top of the head, and seeing now a column of light sending all the way up to ether. Whole body in and around, filled with sparkling light. And then to the four corners around the body, setting up a pyramid. Four corners at the base of your body, drawing all the way up to the crown of the head. So it's like you're sitting in a pyramid, and at the top of that pyramid, I'd like you to connect in with like a central sun, if you like, central sun of yourself, your soul. And this is your higher self. I'd like you to take a moment to really connect in and just ask any questions that you feel are necessary. Like, what is it that would make me happy? Or what do I need to do to become more, to bring myself more in alignment with my soul's purpose or my happiness this year? And be open to receiving whatever comes back, whether there's thoughts, words, feelings. And then with that recognition of where you're at right now, just feeling in your heart a sense of gratitude. Sense of gratitude, of your self-awareness, of all the good things that you have in your life right now. Family, your friends. A home to live in, food on the table. All your needs are met. Bringing to mind that feeling, energy, maybe a color, it may be a symbol, it could be a flower, whatever's meaningful to you. Breathing into this feeling tone and letting it whirl up from the chest, all the way up of your soul. And then like a little rocket or a little firework, just shooting it out. And that future self could be in 5 minutes time, 5 days time, 5 weeks, 5 months, 5 years, whatever is meaningful to you. Maybe it's sending out to every single day, the next 365 days, shooting that feeling tone out into all the future selves of you, future parts of yourself that you want to nourish with that feeling tone. And then bringing one hand onto the heart, one hand onto the solar plexus. Breathing into this precious body of yours, this sanctuary that you call home. Giving thanks for every cell in the health of every cell in the body. Thanks of recognition, of coming into this place of self-inquiry. And then making your commitment, making your dedication, whatever that was when we did our notes just now. There's something that you want to dedicate, that you want to bring more of your life, more of into your life, what you want to embrace for 2021. I commit to cultivating more of da-da-da every day this next year. And then releasing your hands back down to your lap, back down to the floor, wherever they were. And just taking a moment to send out a prayer for humanity, a prayer for the planet, a prayer for all beings. May all beings everywhere know what it feels like to be loved, to receive love, to give love, to feel nourished with happiness, with joy, with all collectively connect and serve each other in a loving way. May we all heal and find happiness. And then taking a few deeper breaths into the body, drawing your energy back in, drawing your energy back into center, back into heart. Placing your two palms together, give them a vigorous rub together. Place the palms over the eyes, and then open your eyes, so you're just gently integrating your eyes back with the light. And bring your hands back down to your lap. Just honoring yourself, honoring each other for sharing this space for spiritual and personal growth. I see the light in all of you, and I honor that light. So, how are you feeling, everyone? So, you might just want a moment to come round, but if anyone has any questions, please feel free to type in the chat box. I'd love to connect with you. This is my first time using YouTube, so it's quite strange not being able to see anybody's faces or connect with you by chatting. So yeah, please feel free to type anything into the chat box. And thank you, Fiona. Glad you enjoyed it. That's great. So something, if you feel like chatting, I will definitely reply to whatever you pop on there. Thank you, Michelle. Glad you enjoyed that. But just to let you know, I am going to be launching my membership as of the 4th of January. So it's for founding members, it's £12 a month, and the things that you will, thank you, Emma, that's great, glad you enjoyed it. So with the membership, there will be a monthly kind of webinar like this where we can all come together share a meditation, and also do a little bit of journaling, a little bit of reflection for the month ahead. I'll be setting a theme for each of the months. And then throughout that month, I'll just be sending little nuggets of whether it's tips, motivation, little practices that you can do, which may include some breathing, some meditation, some relaxation, some yoga. So yeah, if you're interested in that, then please give me a shout. Otherwise, you can check it out on my website, which I'm just putting the website address into the chat box. Don't forget as well, if you would like to book the self-love ebook, then please bob me an email and I will send you a coupon so that you can get that for free. So email is in the chat box as well. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. All quiet on the Western Front, as they say. Well, I hope you enjoyed the webinar. And if you do have any questions or anything that pops up later on, then please feel free to drop me an email or a message. And if not, Happy New Year, everyone. I wish you all a very happy, prosperous year filled with much joy, much peace, and yeah, resilience. We're going to need that strength. Okay, thanks everyone. Have a beautiful day. See you later.